Well, good afternoon, everyone. If nothing else, we're an on-time airline here at UMass Chance, so it's 3 o'clock, and we'll begin the ceremony. It's a privilege for me to be able to be here this afternoon to offer a welcome. It's always very exciting for me at the beginning of the academic year to convene classes in the School of Medicine, the Graduate School of Nursing, and the graduate school to come together to sort of begin a new an academic year and to celebrate the achievements of our learners. This particular year has a little bit of a new twist to it in that a week or so ago we began what some might call a branding exercise around the institution, which we're calling Advancing Together. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow afternoon for those of you who are going to be coming to the convocation ceremony. In fact, I would encourage all of you to join us tomorrow afternoon. We celebrate 4 faculty members who will receive medals, one for teaching, research, clinical care, and distinguished service to the institution, and then we'll invest 4 new faculty members with endowed chairs. It's a relatively nice ceremony. It occurs here at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. For any of you who would like to join us, we'd be thrilled to have you. I think what is so special about our institution, and this came from a conversation we had with numbers of people from the institution, what is so special is the collaborative and collegial nature of what goes on here. I spent all of my career before I came here in Boston, and I think it would be fair to say that certainly in the sciences, it was very much like this, that nobody in the lab next door was saying anything about what was going on there, certainly not with the people next door, because I think the concern always was somebody might go next door and take your idea and get it published before you actually did it. And that's just not the case here. In fact, one of the things that we find so special is the number of labs who are on really important papers, demonstrating that there is a collaborative and collegial nature here, which is frankly unique in academic medicine. And in our clinical schools, in the nursing school and the medical school now, there's quite a bit of collaboration, not only in the learning process, but in the caring for patients process. I can guarantee you that when I went to medical school, it was all about the doctor. It was all about what I would call bilge and purge, put all the information into the doctor's head, get it spit out in an exam, and go on to the next thing. Now it's completely different, where there's an interprofessional determination, if you will, among the faculty, where there's a commitment to learning together, to caring together, and assuring that the patient is at the center of that learning and caring experience. So I think when you take that culture which exists here in all 3 of our schools, it's easy to say then that we're advancing science together, we're advancing nursing together, we're advancing medicine together, and we're doing it in a very special way. And this afternoon, we're going to celebrate your accomplishment of completing the qualifying exam. I'm delighted that there are so many of you and that it's gone well, and that we'll be able to hand you a small token of our commendation for that accomplishment. I think that as our science enterprise continues to grow, and for those of you who are joining us today from outside the institution as family and friends, you'll notice that just about 20 yards to that way is a brand new building that will open right after the first of the year. As we recruit now 55 new faculty members who will come to the institution, it'll be very important that there are many graduate students who will be able to participate in the science and the collaborative and collegial interactions that will occur in that new structure, which our deans have created to assure that we actually have a focus on rare diseases, on single gene defect diseases, of the interaction between those who do gene therapy, genetics research, the neurosciences, and molecular medicine. And when we build those buildings, we actually spend a fair bit of time thinking about how the collaborative spaces will be created. If you're in this building, those of you who don't live in this building every day, if you're in this building, there's a stairway between each one of the research floors, and that was done in a determined fashion to not have the elevator be a block of locomotion between the floors. But we're here to celebrate your accomplishments today. We look forward to following your careers here and then into the future. And one thing I can assure each and every one of you is that when you have completed the degree and gone off to do whatever you'll do, we'll take great pride in calling you one of our own. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chancellor Collins, and welcome, new candidates. It is wonderful to be here with you and your family and friends, your research group pals and advisors, committee members. Before we get going with my words of wisdom, I want to make sure that I take the time to thank your advisors and exam committees, the members of your research groups who supported you, and the GSBS staff, most especially Irina Parker, for shepherding you through this process and organizing this event. And while we acknowledge and appreciate those folks and the teamwork that contributed to your success, our focus today is you, your achievement, and your transition. So years ago, when our community was deciding how to participate in Convocation Week, it was the overwhelming consensus of faculty and students that passing the qualifying exam and advancing to candidacy carried the magnitude and significance that's worthy of this celebration. So we celebrate your transition from student to scholar, from knowledge consumer to knowledge creator. And we celebrate this with gifts that symbolize your scholarly obligation to disseminate knowledge and the assumption of a new professional identity and new relationship to the institution that you joined 2 or more years ago. And in 3.8 years, when you are on your way on to your next big adventure, we'll celebrate you again. I hope that our celebratory observance of this transition empowers you, and that's going to be a theme for the next few minutes, empowers you to fully participate in our continued efforts to foster a collaborative and inclusive scientific ecosystem that supports innovations, that supports innovative science and innovative scientists. And now, as Chancellor Collins mentioned, last week our institution kicked off a new branding campaign, Advancing Together, celebrating our unique culture of collaboration. And this inspired me to reflect on the values that we hold in the Morningside Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences that contribute to our culture of advancing together. Our students have always been major contributors to the scientific discoveries for which UMass Chan is known, and you, our newest candidates, will continue that tradition. But I want to challenge you to think about yourselves as more than research assistants who give your labor in exchange for a degree. You are, in fact, developing yourselves as scientists, scholars, problem solvers, and leaders. And if you engage fully, I promise that your education will serve you well in all facets of your life long after you leave here. I also want to challenge you to think of yourselves as more than just inhabitants of a culture that someone else created and others maintain. Because in addition to pursuing your own developmental journey of achievement and accomplishment, you are also influencing the scientific ecosystem through the talents, interests, and values that you bring to our culture and cultivate. There's many pillars of a healthy scientific ecosystem that supports innovative science and develops creative, collaborative scientists. And today I want to focus on 5 of those: transparency, responsibility, understanding, support, and teamwork. And we sometimes think about those words in the context of what we expect and sometimes demand from those who we perceive to be above us in a power hierarchy. But I want to encourage you, new candidates, to consider how these core values can guide you, both in your development as a scientist and in your stewardship of our unique culture. Okay. We know that transparent, open, honest scientific practices regarding our methods, reagents, and findings are essential for scientific reproducibility and progress. But transparency is also essential in an educational environment. And while this is something that you have the right to expect from faculty and leaders, you also have roles to play as active contributors to a transparent and accountable training environment. Take initiative to stay informed about school policies. Approach educators and leaders with the presumption of good intent and thoughtfulness, and ask questions and provide feedback for improvement when the intent and the impact are disconnected. Make sure you are passing along accurate information to others, especially new members of the community. Now, one of the core responsibilities that we have as scientists and scholars is to disseminate the knowledge that we create, bring it forward to the scientific community for evaluation. And this includes everything from giving lab meeting or program seminar, presenting a poster or a talk at a conference, reporting progress to funding agencies, and publishing papers. Now, these activities are not units of transaction or extra effort for which we receive extra compensation. These are activities that are integral to what we do. And I know that many of my faculty colleagues share the view that providing you with opportunities to present your work publicly is actually one of the responsibilities of mentorship. And part of what makes the qualifying exam so scary, and part of why you should really celebrate being on the other side of it, is that this is probably the highest stakes situation that you have been in up to this point, where you are putting out your original ideas and your research progress, direction, and significance. So the symbolic importance of the gift that we give you, the laser pointer, is as a tool for dissemination, for honoring your responsibility to transparently share your knowledge and your ideas. And today we celebrate your readiness and ability to fulfill that responsibility. But it is also a responsibility that we all have to act respectfully and to create safety for all members of our community for the dissemination of knowledge, even knowing that at some frequency we're going to be incomplete, sometimes a little wrong, and hopefully rarely spectacularly wrong. I hope none of you have experienced that yet. Some of you will. You can get over it, it's okay. But we move forward when we have the courage and the psychological safety to meet our responsibility to share our science and ideas for evaluation. In June of this past year, late in June, the Supreme Court of the United States handed down a ruling that dismayed, but sadly did not surprise us. The majority opinion held, among other ideas, that universities have no compelling interest in cultivating a diverse student body. I stand with the leadership of our institution and with the governing and advocacy organizations like the AAMC and the Council of Graduate Schools in stating my disagreement with this view. I believe that all organizations in our diverse nation, especially educational institutions dedicated to training future leaders in healthcare and science, have a compelling interest in diversity. I hold these views for many reasons, both personal and vocational, but here I want to address the value of diversity as it relates to the pillar and core value of understanding. The evidence demonstrates that diverse organizations are more effective, impactful, and have happier members. Diversity in healthcare providers results in broader and more effective healthcare delivery and reduction in disparities. Diverse scientific teams tackle a broader range of problems with more impactful outcomes. But this is only true if we move beyond quantification of representation. A truly inclusive and accessible community acknowledges the value of diverse perspectives, diverse ideas, equity and opportunity, and the importance of belonging. Understanding and valuing diversity requires integration of diverse perspectives into our scientific culture, and it requires us to question our own individual and group assumptions about inclusion, contribution, impact, and scientific success. The Supreme Court ruling presents a challenge on how we can actually achieve this diversity and understanding, but we are a community that loves a challenge. Each one of us, including you, has an essential role in supporting diverse and inclusive culture of belonging that values understanding in the truest sense. So as new candidates, in addition to being recognized as aspiring scholars and leaders, you are also now senior students. Okay? In pursuit of this milestone that we celebrated today, you undoubtedly felt the need for support, and I hope that you experienced that support. I encourage you to think about the support you received and the support you wish you had received, and pay that forward. Think beyond emotional support, which is not necessarily a comfortable area for many scientists. We have varying levels as a tribe of comfort with the emotional realm, but all of us have very, very much to offer the community in terms of psychosocial support. You should know that junior students and summer interns and new research associates look to you as role models and examples of how to be a graduate student and how to be a scientist. And another secret that you might not know is that new postdocs and new faculty very often look to the senior students for help in understanding our culture and our training objectives. Do your part to foster the respectful and safe environment that encourages transparent sharing and constructive feedback. In doing so, you not only support the advancement of science, but also the advancement of scientific training and the development that is needed to ensure continued progress. And finally, I want to mention teamwork, which, as we all know, is in our institutional DNA. It's so important to us that it is part of the curriculum in all pathways in our school. And it is what makes our science impactful and our healthcare effective. The culture draws many people here, including you. You all had choices about where to pursue your graduate work, and you chose us. And we know that this is in a large part because of the collaborative culture. And I know that the feeling of powerlessness that many students experience can diminish your sense of belonging to teams, and therefore your confidence that you can make a contribution of value to team effort. But I want to share with you the words of the 20th century American novelist Alice Walker, who said the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Advancing together requires teamwork, and teamwork requires you to fight against the idea that you are powerless and to step out of the transactional mindset and recognize your responsibility, not to adding volume to the accumulation of work product that is generated here, but to contribute to a healthy, inclusive, effective, and impactful training ecosystem. Transparency, responsibility, understanding, support, and teamwork. Or, if you like acronyms, trust. So in addition to honoring the real accomplishments of applying your knowledge and skills to the demonstration that qualifies you to be scientists, scholars, and leaders, I hope that our ceremony today also celebrates your willingness to cultivate the values that keep us advancing together. All right, at this time, I'm going to call forward Associate Dean Tony Imbalzano, who will read your names. And when your name is called, please come up and receive your gift.
First, we'll have Akshay Alagata. Sarah Allen. Najiha Aziz. Sadan Badirj. Gavin Birdsall. Amina Bradley. Webb Camille. Li Tzu Chen. Christy Chang. Bradley Class. Benjamin Clayton. Chinmayi Dash. Alejandro Felix Mejeja. Angie Farai. Celine Fleming. Gavin Fujimori. Jenny Gao. Nicholas Gaston. David Gazzola. Paula Grassberger. Jasmine Grassley. Ashley Harkins. Chunying Wang. Christopher Husted. Lauren Intravaya. Jafira Johnson. Clavon Jules. Kensai Kishimoto. Wei Che Ko. Ihan Lee. Jesse Lehman. Carmen Lee. Sophia Liu. Mengping Liu. William Kandawar. Shayla Newman Toledo. Lael Gangmeni. Atinuka Oyinbo. Chaitanya Parikh, Marta Perez Vasquez, Brendan Philippone, Jennifer Powers, Yo-Wei Chow, Megan Sabatino, Valadia Sanabria, Vista Sorab, Kristen Woods, and Shinya Shah.
Well, let's have one more round of applause for all of our QE graduates. So this is a wonderful time of the year for us where we get a chance to congratulate our wonderful students from each of the three schools as they go through important transitions in their careers. And we also at the convocation tomorrow, we'll have an opportunity to honor many of our faculty. As the Chancellor's talked about and the Dean has talked about, our new theme is Advancing Together, and you all who have passed your qualifying exams have clearly made a major advancement. So congratulations again to you. And I do want to give my congratulations also to all of our faculty and the other lab mates of our QE honorees, and also especially to your deans, to Dean Bolzano and to Dean Lane. You guys have done a tremendous job with this graduate school, and it really shows. And thank you also, Chancellor, for your leadership at this time of the year. Now, I'm not going to take long, but as I was preparing for this talk, I did not use, Dean Lane, I did not use ChatGPT to compose my talk. But as you'll hear, I did borrow heavily from a source, an unexpected source that primed me for this. I actually came across a brief blurb on the web page of the AAMC, which is the National Association of Health Sciences Universities like ours. And for some reason, this really stuck with me. So the piece was called "Why Pursue a PhD in Biomedical Sciences?" A question maybe you've asked yourselves while preparing for your QE. But it began, the article began with two definitions. So biomedical research, it's stated, is the exploration of processes that govern the functioning of molecules, cells, and organisms in health and disease. So fair enough as that goes. And biomedical scientists, the second definition, bridge the gap between the basic sciences and medicine. The PhD degree, as the AAMC says, is the gateway to a career in biomedical research. And then it goes on to describe a number of specific things that biomedical scientists do. They include think outside the box and are innovators, are critical and analytical thinkers, get excited about discovering new things, look at biology and see previously unrecognized patterns, enjoy the freedom to pursue interesting questions, have the persistence to see a project through from small beginnings to great discoveries. These really hit home. Want to improve the human condition through their work and see the power of biomedical research to change the world. So, blurbs like this are usually things we pass over, seldom very impactful, but this just stuck with me and certainly seemed to ring true. And some of you probably have heard that in addition to being provost, I'm a physician scientist with a lab and so forth in clinical trial work. But what I don't think many of you have heard, because I haven't really talked about it that much, is that I wanted to be a scientist for years before I wanted to be a physician. The urge to become a physician really came out of my high school years. But when I was in grade school, the thought of being a scientist was foremost in my mind. I was inspired by watching the NASA moon landings. I was inspired by Star Trek, the original. Many other fictionalized breakthroughs in science, which I still, some of you know, enjoy science fiction. I did, in fact, long for some of the things that the AAMC mentioned. And in particular, I got excited about discovering new things. I hope to look at biology and see new, unrecognized patterns. And I firmly began to believe, and do still now, that biomedical research has the possibility to change the world. I'm guessing that many of you shared that experience of childlike excitement and even awe at beginning to look deeply into the natural world. Now, having passed your qualifying exams, you really crossed the threshold into researching on your own doctoral theses. You've matured and overcome one of the last major obstacles. You've advanced past that obstacle in your path to a career in biomedical sciences. And I just want to say in closing, we're all just tremendously proud of you. And our hope for you is that as you mature in your careers in the biomedical sciences, that you never lose that childlike sense of wonder from your own discoveries. If you can hold on to that, we're confident that you very well can and will change the world. Congratulations, and thanks to all of you. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you, Provost Flatt, for those words. So I believe there's going to be some picture-taking activity. Is that correct for our candidates? And the rest of us can proceed to the party. You guys better hurry up if you want. Anyway, we'll see you when you're done with the pictures. Oh, I should also disclose that I did consult ChatGPT and I did not like what it gave me, so I did my own thing.